coffee clutch here and let us in on the entire conversation. Kathy Helbig from the Kathy Helbig Group. Good morning, Kathy Helbig.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What are we doing today?
We are talking about a topic Kelly brought up a few weeks ago. So she asked me if it's important that you use an agent that is kind of prevalent in your neighborhood or your area.
Oh, good question.
So that's really dispelling a myth that a lot of people have, and that kind of comes from pre-internet marketing years ago when brick and mortar kind of did play a little more into the scenario than what it does now.
Right.
So the short answer to that is it not really. It doesn't really matter. And then there's some studies out there that actually dive into some samplings of people that they took some of the local agents in areas and then actually factored out that the outside agents were selling the houses for more money than the agents that were considered the neighborhood realtors.
Really?
And when you kind of step back and look at that, you know, my only thought with that is possibly that sometimes you kind of get stuck in your little rut of here's the houses I'm selling all the time.
Right.
And so you walk into one and you're immediately like, oh, this feels like a 235 house. Oh, this is like my one down the street that was 265.
Right.
And maybe you don't let yourself stretch a little bit, whereas people outside of the area that are kind of coming into that, they're comparing it to houses all over the place.
Right.
And then they maybe will feel that the house is a little bit more worth a little bit more money, and that's how we stretch those neighborhoods to keep growing and growing and growing. So when you look at the percentages, it actually breaks down that the outside agents are selling at a percent or more higher than what your quote local agents are selling on those houses, and that the brick and mortar really kind of lost effect all the way back in about 2003, because that's when every real estate agency started carrying all of the online properties for sale. So nobody walks in anymore. You don't have the walk-in people that say, hey, I need a real estate agent and I want to look at a house in this area.
Right.
We recently had a listener that hired us off of the show, and we listed their house, and then all of a sudden they had a freak out moment about a week into it and started thinking, oh my gosh, we should probably have used somebody down the street because there's a real estate office literally a half block down the street from their house. And so we pulled all of these stats just like you asked. And the funny thing is there was not one agent in her area that was prevalent. It was such a spattering of agents. And 7 out of 10 came from not only out of her city, but out of the county that sold the majority of the houses in that area. So it is definitely a misnomer to think that you have to use somebody that is right there by you. The most important thing possible is to find somebody that can market, because nowadays everybody goes online to shop for houses. So you don't use your phone book anymore.
Right.
You go to Google. That's kind of the same concept of, I got to call the brick and mortar guy down the street. It's like picking up your phone book. No, you're actually going to jump online. You're going to search for houses. And the way that you're going to find those houses is how the agents have them showing up in your searches. And it all comes down to strategy and pricing and placement.
So the expertise that the local neighborhood realtor had years ago doesn't exist anymore because you also have that same expertise thanks to the internet.
Correct. As long as you know how to price a house, in which that one study showed that actually the people that were out of the area priced the houses a little bit higher and got it. So as long as you know how to price a house and do a basic comparative market analysis and you're a good marketing real estate agent, you should be able to market a house anywhere. We keep our brick and mortar down, to hardly anything because that's expense. So I would rather have more money to spend on marketing my properties than have 5 offices all over the place. But we sell all over St. Louis and St. Charles County.
Right.
So it's really about placement. It's about what kind of marketing money they spend. And the agents that have especially, Ladue Clayton agents, but they really want to kind of keep that old traditional feeling of, we're going to sell your house at the country club. No, they're not. The buyers are online. They are online searching well before they're sitting down smoking their cigars and having their drinks at the country club. And I'm going to find them before you sit and talk to them at the country club.
The person at the country club already has the house in the neighborhood.
Right. That's right.
Right. You're looking for people who are moving into the neighborhood.
So it's definitely a misnomer that a lot of agents want to keep that secret because that's how they're keeping their network of having that tight-knit, you can only use these type of agents or these agencies to sell your house.
Here's a study out of Johns Hopkins. It says It's the best agent to use in St. Louis. Right here, it says 98% Kathy Helbig.
Absolutely. I agree with that study 100%.
All right, 314-276-SOLD or KathyHelbigGroup.com. And you are an expert when it comes to St. Louis.
All over St. Louis and St. Charles County.
There you go. Good